So today we're going to be discussing all the updates made to the Battlefield 1 CTE. DICE are going full steam ahead with new content, bug fixes, new features, and experimental trials right across the game at the moment, and it's all in the name of keeping things fresh and keeping the game moving in a positive direction. Just before we carry on though, all footage today is coming from the ROG Strix GL702 VM gaming laptop. ASUS have sponsored this video, and they want me to show you just how well this thing can perform running a AAA title like Battlefield 1. It's got the latest hardware you'd expect, powered by an Intel Core i7 processor, a whopping 32GB of RAM, and an extremely good 17-inch LED display. You might be thinking, what's so special about a 17-inch LED display? Well, it's a G-Sync display running at 75Hz. This keeps gameplay looking super smooth even if you're running at less than 75 FPS in-game, but with this laptop, you should have no problems running the game on high settings at that kind of frame rate. It's got the sleek ROG styling that's become infamous now on any ASUS gaming product, and even the keyboard has got bright red WASD keys instead of black, which does look very nice. It's also very thin and fairly light for a gaming laptop as well, so if you wanted to use it as an everyday replacement, take it on trips with you, or even take it to college or school, then it's perfect for that as well. If you want to find out more about the laptop, then there's a link at the top of the description for you. That'll take you to their product page. Right then, back to the CTE changes. Let's start off with what I think is the highlight here, the medic class buff. We've all experienced those players who, when they're dead on the ground, they don't wait to be revived. We all get a little bit frustrated with them, and sometimes they just don't want to wait around for us to come over and pick them back up again. They want to head back to the spawn screen, thinking they'll be able to respawn faster, when really, they just sit in the spawn screen for a little bit longer. DICE are seeking to change that mentality and give the player who's dead on the ground more information about the medics that are around them, and who's moving in to try and pick them up. They've implemented a medic spotting feature, which works very similarly to how you spot enemies, only this time it highlights dead players to let them know that you're on your way with the syringe. In the kill cam, you can already see where medics are in relation to you, if they're within 20 meters or so. But now, DICE has added a second list of medics who have actively spotted your body, letting you know that they're going to come over to you and revive you. It doesn't mean 100% that person is going to revive you, it's more of just a tool to let you know, the dead player, the medic is aware that you're dead and they're going to try and come and pick you back up. Think about the amount of times that you try and run out and revive a player when you think the coast is clear, but you end up getting taken out by surprise with an assault player and a shotgun at close range. If that happens and the medic dies and they're on their way over to you, the player will just drop out of the incoming list and you'll be left with the nearby medic list again. In the amount of time that I've spent on the CTE today and last night using this new feature, I can say that it did decrease the amount of times a player would skip a revive, simply because I'd spotted them. There were even a couple of times where I'd spot a dead player as their icon was flashing, and that means they were holding down the button to skip the revive, and then the icon would stop blinking. And that let me know that because I'd spotted them, they decided to stop skipping the revive so that I could pick them back up again. It actually feels like a very natural thing to be doing, spotting a dead player on the ground to let them know you want to revive them, and I think it's a great addition that might slowly start to change the mentality of players from skipping revives to simply waiting a few more seconds to see if a nearby medic is going to come and pick them up. It's a nice addition from DICE, and I hope it makes it into the main game very soon. Next up, we're going to talk about grenades again. The first wave of changes going live with the They Shall Not Pass DLC, DICE managed to kick up a massive stink about adding passive grenade timers. However, this time, they've clearly been listening to the community, because some of the changes that have been made with this patch, they fall in line with what the community has been suggesting for a few weeks now. Firstly, and this is probably the biggest change, they've added a 0.3 second increase to the throwing delay of all grenades. That means that it takes slightly longer after you've pressed the grenade button for it to throw and leave your hand. This should slow down the spamming of grenades just a little bit, and seeing that 0.3 second as a starter point, I think DICE are going to go a little bit further with a future patch. Secondly, the outer blast radius of the frag and stick grenades has been reduced from 7 to 6.3, and the impact, mini and light anti-tank grenades from 6 to 5.6. This means the blast from those grenades won't reach out as far anymore, or at least the outer blast radius is a little bit larger so that you take less damage from those grenades. You've got a chance to get away and not die in certain situations. And thirdly, DICE has changed a lot of the fuse timers for grenades as well. This is the mechanic that controls when a grenade detonates. The mini, frag and stick grenades have had their fuse timers increased from 0.7 to 0.85 seconds. Impact grenades have had their minimum delay increased from 1 to 1.2 seconds, incendiary from 1.3 to 1.4 seconds, and the rifle frag grenades, that's the medic class gadget, has increased from 0.7 to 0.8 seconds. Now, some of these increases on paper don't sound like a huge amount, and really they aren't, but the likely thing that you're going to see is a bigger impact during gameplay. I highly suggest, if you've got access to the CTE, that you get in there and test this stuff out. DICE are continuing to take feedback on the system, and they've directly changed it based on player feedback. So if you like it, let them know. If you don't like it, tell them why you don't like it, and hopefully they'll come up with another solution to how we can get the grenade spam out of this game. And one final thing on grenades, DICE have slipped this one in. Grenades no longer collide with friendly players inside 10 meters. Hallelujah. This means that when a teammate now walks in front of you just as you're about to throw a grenade, it won't bounce off their head anymore. You can throw grenades without fear of them rebounding, hitting you, and causing a massive annoyance of you having to run out of the way. And it potentially saves you from wasting a grenade. GG DICE. After grenades, DICE has now extended their resupply system to the gadgets in Battlefield 1. This was part of their overreaching Ammo 2.0 system. Most of their changes are super early, and they haven't been tweaked based on the amount of time a player's life is, the damage they do, or their effectiveness, but the groundwork has been laid for now. Some of the higher level points that have been tweaked, the ammo crates now have the same effect on gadgets as they do grenades, speeding up the time that it takes for you to get some of your gadget ammo back. Suppression affects the resupply timer for offensive grenades now, just as it does with grenades, and when you respawn in, most of the gadgets will come with the same amount of ammunition that you died with, except if you died with no ammunition, in which case DICE has added a minimum amount that you will come back with. As I said, all of these additions are very early on and need a lot of further testing, and they will likely get tweaked a lot before they make it into the final game. So if you've got access to the CTE on PC, get in there and help test this stuff out. And just one more thing, I did manage to get some time playing with the 4 brand new level 10 weapon variants the other day as well. Each of them have got their own strengths and weaknesses, so really it's going to depend on how you play as to which ones you're going to enjoy. So if you want to go and check out that video, it'll be well worth a watch, as those will be coming to the main game at some point in the near future. Some proper assignments are needed to be completed to get access to them as well. There are, of course, plenty more changes in this CTE patch, but it would take me literally all day to go through them all and explain them for you, so it actually makes sense in some cases. So I've linked the update post down at the top of the description, and if rumour has it, there will be a further update to the CTE later this week on Thursday, and I think it highly likely there will be more changes to Ammo 2.0, the grenade changes, and the gadget changes. If you missed my video from the other day on the new weapon variants that DICE have added as well, you can go and find that linked in the description too. A massive thank you to ASUS for sponsoring this video with their ROG Strix GL702 VM gaming laptop. If you want to hear more about that, as I said earlier, there is a link at the top of the description that'll take you to their product page. Let me know what you think about all of these changes down below in the comments, and I'll be down there reading as many as I can too. I really like to try and see what you guys are talking about. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.